Welcome to the Loyalty Program Builders podcast, where together with the top industry experts, we discuss business and technical challenges of implementing and running loyalty programs. Loyalty programs are complex. That's why together with our guests, we make difficult processes easy to understand and provide actionable steps to reach your loyalty program goals. Subscribe to our newsletter and become a part of a community dedicated to loyalty program excellence. Hey everyone! Today we're all about strategy. The goal of this episode is to provide you with insights, guidance, and practical tips on how to design and implement a good loyalty program strategy. And our guest is Philip Shelper, the CEO and founder of Loyalty and Reward Company. He has extensive experience within the loyalty industry as a designer, speaker, educator, and researcher. In addition to designing loyalty programs for over 100 brands globally, he previously held loyalty roles at Qantas Frequent Flyer and Vodafone. Phil is a member of several hundred loyalty programs and an obsessive researcher of loyalty psychology and loyalty history, all of which he uses to understand the essential dynamics of what makes a successful loyalty program. He's also the author of The Loyalty Programs, the complete guide, the definitive book on the subject. So without further ado, here's Phil. Hi Philip, so great to have you on the podcast.
Hi Eric, how are you today?
Great. So today we have this, great topic. Basically, we're going to talk about preparing a good loyalty program strategy. So how do you feel about that?
I feel great about that. I can talk about that for days because it's what I do for a living.
Brilliant. So today we are going just to, maybe tackle it a bit. Obviously we have prepared this sort of like an outline, but where do we start? If we think about strategy, where should we start?
Yes, I think the important thing to understand is the loyalty programs are very, very complex things. A lot of people engage with loyalty programs and think that they understand them, but there's an enormous amount of strategy and experience that sits underneath them in order to deliver something that is best practice. So in order to make sure that a company is delivering a best practice loyalty program, they really need to get experts involved to provide that support. So that might be loyalty consultants such as Loyalty and Reward Co. to design the program, and then of course best practice technology in order to make sure that the program is running as efficiently and as optimized as possible with platforms like Open Loyalty.
Definitely. So it is a huge and complex project for sure. So from your experience, where do we start? I'm thinking about, let's say, like a loyalty manager perspective.
So I think the first place to start is understanding what a loyalty program actually is. If people search for the definition of a loyalty program on the internet, there'll be lots and lots of different definitions that come up. Our favorite definition that we use with our clients all the time is a desirable behavior stimulation program. So if a company knows across the customer journey the different types of behaviors that they want their customers and their members to exhibit, they can then design the loyalty program in order to stimulate those behaviors. So when we're working with a client, one of the first things that we do is we become customers. We work our way through finding out about the company, researching the company, buying something from that company, and just getting a sense of what it is to be a customer. We call the call center, we buy things online, we go into the stores, and we get a sense of the different experience of that journey in being a customer. And then we work with the client to say, at each stage of that journey, what is it that you want the customer to do? And so we map out what all those behaviors are. And that gives us a really good blueprint for where the opportunities are for the loyalty program to play a role in helping the customer achieve their overall objectives.
Could you give us maybe about 3 examples of certain change of behavior in retail, for example?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first one is making the member base advocates of the brand. If we provide the example of a retailer, they may have a big percentage of their customer base who are signed up as members. And so incentivizing those members to recommend that their family and friends join the program and get some sort of a benefit is a really great way to acquire new customers and new members to the program. The second one is influencing the members to spend more and spend more often. So that might be providing them with some account credit or a voucher so that they come back and buy more from that particular brand, and ideally less from competitors. The third one is incentivizing people in gamification behavior. So loyalty equals data. Loyalty programs are a really great way to collect member data. And so it might be incentivizing people to fill in a survey talking about their fashion likes and needs. It might be incentivizing them to share a particular promotion or something that they've purchased on social media, and other examples that way.
Okay, thank you. So you've mentioned rewards just briefly. So if we could talk about that for the moment. And I know that there is a certain challenge that comes with that. So actually, how to maybe calculate the so-called earn and burn. So actually, how much can you give in order to stay profitable?
Yeah, exactly right. So at Loyalty and Reward Co, we have very detailed conversations with our clients about rewards. And there's two aspects to it. The first one is the delivery of value. So loyalty programs are good at driving engagement with members, but they need to deliver value. So if you think about all of the loyalty programs that you are a member of, you joined because you perceived that you were going to get value from doing so, and you continue to engage because you perceive you are getting value. Otherwise, you would have thrown the plastic card in the bin many years ago. So companies need to get obsessed about where are they going to deliver meaningful value to their customers in order to drive that long-term engagement with the loyalty program. And in retail in particular, a lot of companies really fail in this regard. So they'll launch a program, they might have an attractive join bonus, such as if you join today, you'll get 20% off this transaction, but then they fail to follow up with any meaningful value after that event. And so there's a lot of retail programs out there that have very big customer bases. They've done a good job in acquiring customers, but very low activity rates with those customers, because so many of them have just not seen that it's worthwhile engaging with that program at all. And so the second part of that comes to, where is that value going to come from? Within loyalty, there is efficient and there's inefficient rewards. And an inefficient reward is something where the value that the member perceives is equal to the cost to the company. So a good example there would be a gift card. If we've got a program and the reward to the member is a $100 gift card or a €100 gift card, and that's costing that company €100 to provide it, that's an inefficient reward. So really what we want to do is seek out opportunities to access efficient rewards within the business. That might be an empty seat on a plane, an empty hotel room, a car that's not going to get rented. The cosmetics industry does this really, really well. They get free cosmetic samples from suppliers, which they box up and provide to the customers. The movie industry does a great job as well. They've got free movie tickets and free popcorn and those sorts of things. But unfortunately, particularly in retail, there's a lot of companies that really struggle to access those efficient rewards. So those companies just need to try a lot harder to identify where that value is going to come. That might be through a tier structure where the higher value members get access to exclusive events, to early access to sales, free product, that type of thing. Or it may be that the company actually needs to partner up with other companies who can provide that value. You see that a lot in other industries such as utilities, electricity and gas, insurance, telecommunications, where they build out a network of partnerships that can provide discount offers to their clients as well.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So definitely here the goal is actually to find the efficient rewards, right?
Absolutely.
Cool. So the next aspect we were going to talk about was design. So actually, if you could tell us a bit about designing and exploring the possibilities here.
Absolutely. So once we understand the types of behaviors that a member, that the company wants to stimulate in their customer base, we can then move on to looking at how to design the program. At Loyalty and Reward Co, we run a very specific process. We do three-hour workshops over 3 consecutive days. So in the first day, we go in and present a whole heap of different models that might be suitable in order to stimulate those desirable behaviors and achieve the objectives of the company. And then we work with the client in a very collaborative way through all of those different models to get a sense of what resonates with them and what they think that it's going to work. The thing that we love about working with clients in that way is the people on the client side who participate in these workshops always have amazing ideas as well. So it's genuinely collaborative. So we'll also weave in their ideas into those draft models as well. And at the end of that day, we'll try and get a sense of 2 or 3 models that they think are really going to work. We'll then take that away and overnight rework those models and provide some more detail around them. And then the next day we'll come back and present those and continue to work them and refine them down further to maybe 1 or 2 models. And then on the third day, we'll come and present out what the customer experience would be for those models. How would members join the program? What's all the different ways that they can register? How would they earn value within the program? How would they redeem that value? If it's a tier program, how would they move up and down tiers? If it's other types of program designs, what is the engagement and the use cases for that? And then we also look at the rules of the program as well, so that the company is protected, but also ensuring that it's very clear how everything would work for customer interaction. So that is our 3-day design process. We've reviewed and refined that over the last decade, and it works very, very well.
Cool. But so who should take part in such a workshop? I really like the idea of collaborating with the company and actually also being open towards the ideas that come within the organization. But actually who, because I also know that, this loyalty program is a complex and interdisciplinary project. So what would you say? Who needs to take part in such workshops?
Yeah, it's a really good question, actually. So as part of our initial phase, we often interview key stakeholders across the business, and it's important to do so because a loyalty program sits as a horizontal layer right across the business. Support is required from marketing, from finance, from legal, from customer care, from sales, from many other areas of the business. And so having them involved in providing their thoughts on what the loyalty program should be and the objectives the loyalty program needs to deliver is a very, very important part of the process. So we always recommend that a representative from each area of the business participates in those projects, so we can get lots of different viewpoints and lots of different ideas based on what that division of the business is trying to achieve as part of their overall strategy as well. And we find, once again, consistently, different people from different areas of the business are always bringing really good ideas. And so it does make a really big impact on the overall quality and output of the workshops. It also really helps with involving people in the journey as well. So if people from different divisions of the business are involved in that design process, they feel like they have been involved and had their voice heard and they've got a stake in it, which means taking that model forward is generally easier as well because they've had some exposure and some impact in what the end product is going to be.
Okay. So again, I'm going to refer to retail. What are the most common possible designs for retail?
Well, this is the thing, right? There is a lot of different designs. So in our book, Loyalty Programs, The Complete Guide, we've dedicated an entire chapter 8 of the book, to all of the different loyalty program designs that we see companies using all around the world. Within that, there's 10 major categories of loyalty programs that we see. And underneath that, there's 26 sub-frameworks, okay? So that's a lot of different frameworks. And they're standalone frameworks. What we see a lot of companies do is then do combinations of those frameworks. So as an example, it might be a points-based program with status tiers. And so if you think about 26 sub-frameworks combined in different ways, that's an infinite variety of different loyalty program designs that are possible. Now, what we really love about this is over the past 5 years or so, the advances in loyalty program technology have been absolutely phenomenal. So platforms like Open Loyalty can literally support any different type of loyalty program design and combinations of those designs. So we're not in a situation where limitations in the technology is limiting our creativity in the types of program designs that we come up with, which means that now and into the future, the quality of loyalty programs across every industry, particularly retail, should just continue to get better and better, and we'll see how we go. Now, to more directly answer your question, anything is possible, but what we typically do see within retail are programs where the member spends and they get some form of value into their account that they can then utilize on a future transaction. Points programs are very popular. Obviously, you see lots of those, but increasingly we're seeing programs, we're seeing programs where the member gets some credit into their account, and so that they can apply that credit against the cost of the next transaction. There is some tier programs, but they tend to work well in some industries and not others. The main problem is that across a lot of retailers, the average member isn't spending a lot of money with them over say a full year period. And so it can be hard to justify the investment in providing them with a lot of value through different status tiers. So it can be difficult to make that type of model work. We are seeing subscription-based status tier programs come in across quite a few retail companies, which can provide a lot of advantages, but there's also a lot of complexity in operating those types of programs also. So the possibilities is truly infinite. And I think one thing that retail companies should really be thinking about as a key aspect of their program design is differentiation. If you look at different industries, what you typically see is all the companies in that industry have the same type of program. And it's a very myopic way of approaching things, because one company will look at what their competitors are doing and say, oh, we need to do that, but do it better. And so they all rush to the same space with all ending up with the same program design. Loyalty programs are a really great way to differentiate a brand. So if you're creative and thinking dynamically about what your loyalty program could be, it's another great way to make your brand stand out in a crowded market. So be creative, be different, bring a punk attitude to the design.
Thank you for this optimistic message, because at first when you look at those programs, it might seem that, okay, they are all the same, that you have only maybe 3 frameworks to choose from, but you said it, that it's actually, the endless opportunity to innovate.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so what happens next after the design phase? Well, what about the next step?
Yeah, so once the client is happy with 1 or 2 designs, which is we have a very high success rate with that as part of the design phase, we then go through quite an extended validation process. So we will take the designs to market research. We'll do a survey to the customer base. We'll also do focus groups or one-to-one interviews with a smaller group of members in order to test whether the loyalty program design resonates, and of course, make sure that the way that it is structured is going to be successful in stimulating all of those desirable behaviors as part of the member journey. We will then take the market research results and do some further refining of the loyalty program design. And then we build out all of the documentation. So we'll do a really comprehensive use case document. As part of that, we'll include everything that is required for the operational running of the program across all of the different divisions within the business. we'll then start looking at platform providers. So we'll create all of the technical documentation required for the platform provider to be able to provide a quote for implementation and licensing for the program. So that will be technical process flows, business and technical requirements that are very detailed and very comprehensive. We will build out a really complex commercial model in order to determine the return on investment for the program, so that the company can get a sense of how much it's going to cost to implement the program, how much it will cost to run ongoing, the amount of investment that they can put into rewards, and the sales uplift that would be required in order for the program to break even, all the way to providing a really attractive return for that investment. And we'll then wrap all of that up into a final strategy, which can be presented back to senior management to make a decision to progress to implementing the program.
Okay, thank you. But how long does it take to validate the design, actually? Because you said that it's about the behavior change. So how long does it take?
Yeah, so we've got a really refined process that we use. So typically it would take us around about 7 or 8 weeks to complete that process, including the market research, creating all the documentation, doing all the commercial modeling, and pulling together a presentation for senior management to review. It's very intensive. It's a lot of work. It's a very, very specialized area. And we've worked a lot with platform vendors in order to make sure that we get the technical documentation just right, so that when the project moves to implementation, it's a very efficient, streamlined process.
Okay, thank you. So what factors should we take into consideration when we think about predicting the profitability of the program?
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. So understanding the different assumptions and being able to validate those assumptions requires a lot of effort. So the first thing is providing some predictions around how many people will join the program. So what the member base growth would be over a 3 to 5 year period. Getting a sense of how much those members will be spending on the program, both online and in store. Doing some assumptions about how much of their spend would be returned to them in the form of rewards, and whether that would be enough to deliver the value that's required to maintain that long-term engagement, and then building out the revenue that would be generated, incremental revenue, and the margin that would be earned. Now, for a commercial model, we typically look at 3 different areas where the program can generate tangible financial value. The first one is acquisition. So will the program be successful in acquiring new customers? The second one is spend. So will the program generate people to spend more? Now, specifically for a retail program, we often use recency, frequency, monetary value as a framework. So if you've got customers who are spending often and spending a lot, you want to make sure that the program helps to maintain them doing that into the future. If you've got customers who are shopping a lot but not spending very much, where's the opportunity for the program to encourage them to spend more on each visit? And if you've got customers who are spending a lot but shopping very infrequently, how can the program be used to get them to shop more often? So there are some examples of different types of spend behaviors that the program might try to stimulate. And so building assumptions around that is important in order to get a sense of what the incremental uplift in revenue could be generated by the program. And then the third area is retention. So all companies have churn as a core metric, and loyalty programs can be a really great way to reduce churn or even win customers back who might have moved away. So putting in some assumptions about what the impact the loyalty program will have on reducing churn will also provide an additional revenue benefit as well.
Okay, thank you. So now it's the implementation phase, right? So how about this one?
Yeah, so once again, with building out all of that technical documentation work in the validate phase, we can go straight into implement. The first thing that we do is work with platform vendors on a statement of work. So all the documentation is presented to the vendor. They provided with the opportunity to work with key stakeholders across the business, particularly the IT team, in order to validate some assumptions, identify the best way to do system integrations, configuring of the platform to support the loyalty program, so that they can then provide a statement of work which presents back what they will deliver and how that will be delivered. So doing that and enabling enough time to work through that process is very, very important. From there, it's a standard IT implementation project combined with, I guess, a marketing project. So implementing the project, the platform, doing all the configuration, all of the testing is really important. So having good quality project management of that process is very important. And then building out everything that is required for the launch of the program. So a lifecycle marketing strategy, a launch marketing campaign, providing training to key stakeholders across the business, such as customer service and the loyalty operations team, and ensuring that the terms and conditions of the program are well designed, working with the legal team. So there's quite a lot to do. And typically we would recommend that companies allow anything from 5 to 7 months for the implementation of the program. That seems to be, from our experience, the amount of time required to do it properly.
Cool, thank you. So I understand that, the whole project is extremely complex, but perhaps you could give us like a few tips or some areas to look at, like, when just developing the strategy of a loyalty program.
Sure. So our recommendation that we provide to anyone who's working in this area is a few things. The first one is join as many loyalty programs as you can. So unlike other industries, the great opportunity for people in the loyalty industry is they get to go and experiment with loyalty programs all day, every day. So at Loyalty and Reward Co, we have a rule. If you walk into a retail store or if you're shopping online and you're asked if you want to join the loyalty program, you have to say yes.
Okay.
All right. And you have to sign up for all of the marketing as well. So it's a really great way to constantly be introduced to different loyalty programs and try and get a sense of the strategy that that company is implementing to stimulate those desirable behaviors. The second thing is study loyalty psychology. So there's an enormous amount of consumer psychology that is woven into loyalty program design. In our book, Loyalty Programs, A Complete Guide, chapters 5 and 6 are fully dedicated to consumer psychology that is utilized within loyalty programs. And in order to be a really good loyalty program designer, you'd really need to understand the psychology that underpins that design. So that's a really important one. And the third one is talk and write obsessively about loyalty programs any chance that you get. So talking about it and discussing and debating it and exploring the different ways that companies are utilizing their loyalty strategies is a really great way to build up knowledge and provide some influence in terms of the type of design that you might come up with.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. I also wanted, because definitely we could find a lot of, good quality material about loyalty behavior in your book. But what are the other sources that you found useful? Where is... could you recommend any sources of this, good quality knowledge about loyalty psychology?
Yeah, I think there is, the only other place really is going to the original the original academic research papers, and fortunately a lot of them are available online. So once you understand the different types of psychology studies that you want to review, you can always go to the original research paper, which provides something really good. So I would recommend looking at Tajfel's social identity theory is a really great one used in loyalty the other time. The goal gradient effect and endowed progress effect are another two studies that are really important, used in psychology all the time as well. So start with those three and then branch out from there.
Cool. Okay. Thank you. All right. So I guess that, we have covered pretty much everything we planned to. So thank you so much for joining us and, explaining how to formulate a loyalty program strategy. Is there anything else you would like to add to our discussion?
Yeah, look, I think the main thing is that there is a lot of loyalty programs out there in the market and in retail, but there's very few good quality loyalty programs. So I think I would encourage any company that does have a loyalty program to really have a look at it and question whether it is the best that it could possibly be. I'm hoping that over the next 5 years, there's a lot of reinvention of existing loyalty programs in order for them to work harder and do more. With Google banning cookies, with the rise of walled garden data plays by Google, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, the need for loyalty programs is now more important than ever. Over the next decade, the companies that have a best practice loyalty program, a really good quality member database, good data profiles on those clients, good reporting and analytics capability, and the ability to deliver omni-channel personalization, they're the companies that are going to win. So if your company is not there or not on the pathway to get there, now is the time to really look very closely at that.
Thank you for sharing your expertise and inspiring us to design better loyalty programs, Philip. It was a pleasure. Boom! That was an amazing conversation. The key takeaway for me is that loyalty programs are now more important than ever. So let me finish with a few housekeeping items. First, you'll find useful links in the description of this podcast. Second, subscribe to our newsletter because there's a lot of valuable content related to the episode. And stay tuned for the next one. Have a great day, everyone. The Loyalty Program Builders podcast is brought to you by the team at Open Loyalty, the world's most flexible loyalty software for creating personalized loyalty and gamification programs fast and at scale.